Hey, Michelle here from The Sensate Soul for your resources for all things empathy, empaths, sensitivity, and spiritual sensitive entrepreneurs, and as well as from The Soul Translator, where I have private coaching for spiritual life and business. All right, so as you can tell, I sound kind of like crap right now, but I wanted to put this video out anyway. So I apologize ahead of time if I have any sniffling, sneezing, snot. I sure hope not. But if anything of my bodily functions offend, which I shall try to keep everything, of course, in check, I apologize ahead of time. So in this video, we're going to be talking about this concept called upper limit problems. We're going to be talking about the throat and empaths, expressing yourself. And I also at the end have a few little tips for you to be able to empower your voice even more. And also at the very end, I have something I would love for you to be part of and to actually receive from me. So let's get into it. I'm wondering, have you ever had some times where you've made a big decision in your life and you've made a big choice or you've made a big change and committed to yourself to something, took action on it, and then all of a sudden something happens that feels like it's almost holding you back? Examples might be you decide to sell the house, and then all of a sudden, shite just starts breaking. You're like, wait a second, why is this happening? You decide to get into a relationship, and then all of your inner gremlins come out in this relationship in the beginning to kind of test it. Maybe you've had an experience where you've made a really big investment or decided to raise your prices in your work or whatever may be true for you. You've made a big financial decision, and all of a sudden then you get these big bills coming at you or unexpected things that kind of feel like they're coming out of left field that might be putting a little bit of a wrench into your financial expansion or your financial intentions to expand. So when these things happen, when you take a bold step or you make a big decision or you commit to something, you take really big action on something, you are consciously creating a change. And you're also creating, in quantum physics world, a vacuum. These things are called, I jokingly call it a gulp moment, because the ULP acronym means upper limit problem. I add a G on top of there because it's literally like when it happens, it's like, gulp. So what this concept is when we push up against our own ideas of limitation or we take a big risk, we create in quantum physics what is called a vacuum. And everything being energy, everything in space being made of space and energy, life doesn't like a vacuum, so it fills it with something. This ULP idea is also from, there's a beautiful book called The Big Leap by an author known as Gay Hendricks. And he does a lot of personal and professional growth. And he uses this term to apply to those times where you make a change and all of a sudden you feel like something is trying to hold you down or something unexpected happens. Some resistance in some form shows up. And this is what in some people in metaphysical worlds call like the universe testing you. I don't personally believe the universe has any care to test us, but I do believe in energy. And I do believe that when we make decisions and do things to expand, there is this created space, shall we say, and there is a desire to fill that in. Sometimes these negative things can happen because I believe we are, because of our subconscious beliefs that we're butting up against and actively doing something contrary to them. So here's an example of this. So as you can tell, and as I shared, I've got a really bad cold that started with major throat irritation. I felt like I was a cat with the claws out in my throat. And the interesting thing here is it is an ULP, or as I like to personally call them, gulps. Because no, the G does not stand for some sort of slang word. What it actually stands for is, gosh darn it, I've hit an ULP. So I call it a gulp. It's also ironic because gulp has to do with the throat, which I'll get to in a moment, which is a really tender place for a lot of empaths and sensitives. So I've got a lot of books inside of me, and I have had the goal for a long time to finally actually get one of them out. And I just finished my first draft on a daily inspirational reader for empaths and sensitives that will be out next year. And lo and behold, gulp. This week I started editing the first draft. It was supposed to be actually my week to start editing. And this gulp happened. And on the beginning of the week, when I was laying in bed lamenting about why I was, not able to work and not able to get into the editing process, I had the complete V8 moment of, for some of you, you may not know what that is, but it's an old commercial of I could have had a V8. So I realized this was totally a gulp moment. Because of course, what's going to be the part of me that has an energetic resistance to my expansion? My throat. And the throat chakra has everything to do with voicing ourselves, voicing our creativity, speaking our story, being heard, speaking up. So it's all about personal expression. So I can hear you probably asking the question, wait a second, why is it that when we expand and do something good, like finally getting the first draft of the book together, that you have to deal with some sort of sickness or some sort of something breaks down, or, all the examples I used earlier? Why is that? I believe in the body system, the reason why these things come up is because truly our energetic system, just like our body, loves to be in a state of homeostasis. And when we create something that is different, that is riskier, so for instance, like putting out a book into the world so people can hear my voice on the topic matters that matter to me, there's going to be a protective kind of knee-jerk reaction to it. And doesn't that make total sense when you think about things for yourself when you've taken a big step? That how sometimes our bodies will go into protective mode, our energetic systems will go into protective mode, not because they don't want the best for us, but because it's their job to protect us. And many, many empaths and sensitives have a lot of issues around the throat chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the place of personal power, and the root chakra. Because that has to do with that sense of belonging. Now, I bring up these three chakras because it's what I have found personally and also in my work that tends to be the places that most empaths and sensitives need to do some more reclaiming and empowering of those chakras, because they can be very affected because of being a sensitive and because of holding back our voice and our creativity. Think about all those times as an empath or sensitive when you felt and sensed or saw things that were going on around you that you held back because somebody maybe was going to criticize you for it, abandon you for it, reject you for it, think you were crazy, think you were being too sensitive. Never heard that one, have you? I'll take my tongue out of my cheek now. So we have a lot of things that can get gunked up in our throat chakra. A lot of empaths and sensitives tend to have throat issues and also immune system issues, because a lot of the thyroid and the glands, the immune glands, they're in the throat, and it's kind of one of our first places of defense. A lot of empaths and sensitives grow up having some sort of chronic throat problems. I would say probably half, if not more, of the people I have worked with had problems with strep throat for many years. I know I did, like for 7 or 8 years until I had my tonsils out, because there were so many things that were going on that I was choking back and swallowing my tongue about and not wanting to share, because I thought if I did, everybody would think that I had totally lost my you-know-what. So the throat area can be an incredible place of empowerment and, on the shadow side, a place of disempowerment and shutting ourselves down out of protection. It's also a place that has a lot to do with expressing our creativity. So let's talk about some things now that can help you keep that throat chakra open. The first one is absolutely so essential to so many sensates and sensitives is creativity. This is also kind of a bonus because it really helps you find your creative voice, and whatever form that may be, whether it's painting, writing, creating things. It's really a lot of creativity is a subtle form of soul communication with yourself, and then also to share who you are with others and the things that you perceive, the things that you notice, and the way that you play with light and color and senses. Everything about creativity is really healing for sensitives because it has to do with your senses and expressing, moving energy through the act of creativity. Sensate Soul has a big emphasis on creativity, by the way. The other thing is doing practices on a daily basis to help clear your throat. Of course, speaking up is one of them. Also, sounding, vocalizing, chanting. Personally, I like to sing. I like to riff, do a little blues, move in some energy through my throat. I'm Swiss, ancestry-wise, and I do know how to yodel, so sometimes just yodeling will help move some of the energy that gets stuck. You can also go through and sound out the different tones of the chakras, which you can find on Google easy enough, and you can hear the different intonations of the resonance and of the frequency of each chakra, and use your throat and use your body and your system, your energetic system, to work with the vibration, and that will, not only are you going to help keep your throat clear, but you'll do a lot more benefit for the rest of you as well. This last one is a little different, but believe me, it is so much fun, and it's called laughter yoga. I actually used to teach this a long time ago, and if you can find a laughter yoga class in your area, please, dear empath and sensitive, please go have some fun doing some laughter yoga. If you think about laughter for a second, it's really like a melodic breath that comes through you and expresses your joy, expresses your excitement and your total delight in whatever is happening. And believe me, from having taught this stuff, your brain and your energy system does not know the difference between being in a laughter yoga class and kind of doing the whole fake it till you make it kind of thing, of laughing through exercises that then actually, believe me, it becomes contagious and you start actually laughing a lot, genuinely laughing. The point of it is to really get your respiratory system moving, to open up the throat, to get all of the good, feel-good hormones and neurotransmitters popping around your system, and clearing out the heavier ones like the cortisol and the stress hormones that can kind of start to create more rigidity. So if you can find some laughter yoga in your area, or go on YouTube or whatever, wherever you can find it, give yourself the gift of finding some release and some really great breath work and energy work through the process of laughter yoga. So as I mentioned, I do have a book coming out next year, and it is a daily inspirational reader for empaths, HSP, and sensitives, as well as those who are stepping into the world of being an empathic, sensitive entrepreneur. And not only is it a daily reader, it will also include different energy exercises and some meditations that you can use to empower yourself as an empath and sensitive, and for wonderful self-care and mindset shifting, of course. So there's a lot of stuff that I will need to be doing to be able to get it into hard form, but it will be in digital form. So those who sign up in December, you'll be the special group, shall we say, of trailblazers for this book that will be able to receive it first. And as well, there are going to be some other bonuses and perks included. So of course, my ask for you would be if you would so lovingly share this with your friends and colleagues and family and people who you feel would benefit from this, and you get to be part of the launch. So I would be very grateful, of course, for your assistance because, yeah, it does take a village to do good work in the world. And we're all here for each other, and to have each other's backs is a really beautiful thing. So you will find a link below or somewhere around this video that you'll be able to sign up and get first access, plus the secret bonuses that I'll be adding along the way to those who help with this book launch. All right, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you heard here, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, as well as please do leave a comment and let me know, how do these gulp moments show up in your life? And also, how do you take care of your throat chakra? How do you need to express yourself more? And in what ways have you found that have worked for you? So again, you can find me at sensatesoul.com, also at thesoultranslator.com, and do sign up on either one of those to be able to receive private information and tools and tips that I share only to my private community on my email, and as well to hear about special things that are going to continually be created for empaths, sensitives, and spiritual entrepreneurs. All right, take so much care, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love.